Welcome, everybody, to another week of Sports Talk with the Views from the 573 podcast. You can find us in our other channel, Entertainment from the 573, on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts, as well as Anchor now. We tried that experiment a few months ago. We're going back to it. All of our podcasts are going to be up there. You can check out our YouTube channel as well, podcasts from the 573 as well, where you can listen to the YouTube version of the show. But before I get to the rest of this, hello, Facebook. How you doing? It's been a minute. We're all back together in our old recording studio back at KRCU in Cape Girardeau. It's been a minute. We haven't seen each other in 7 months. Although, with some people maybe listening to the audio, you maybe thought we were recording in the same studio. But we're all back together. So, it's good to be back together. You can go follow our Views account on Twitter, if you like to use Twitter more than Facebook or Instagram, on Views from the 573 podcast. Keep up with all the latest action from us. If you didn't notice, I'm one of your co-hosts, Ryan McDaniel. And joining alongside by me today is fellow co-host, Peter Lewis. Peter, how are we going to introduce Matt back since, we're already live, but like...
Well, Ryan, those pesky Avengers... Apparently when I gave the gauntlet back to Thanos, he snapped away half the universe again. So it's so apparently it's a whole thing where they went back in time. It was kind of weird.
You could say Matt blipped back.
Yeah.
I have a blip beard.
Yep. So yes, that's our excuse. Matt Mormon is back and alive.
Hey, hello everybody.
For I guess the time being.
And I tell you what, sitting here, next to you guys, Ryan next to the LeBron of the podcast here.
I don't know about that.
Peter Lewis over there riding the coattails like James Jones.
Oh, yeah.
This feels like Dwayne Wade going to Cleveland right now. I'm all old. I'm broken down. I can only play about 10 games in a season these days.
The prime is gone. It's all done.
That's rough. The Wayne Wade Cleveland era.
Oof. Not good stuff.
Yeah. I'm glad you're not dust anymore.
Hey, you know what? It was a good time being there on that Soul Stone for a little bit. We had a lot of fun. I got to meet some of my heroes. Me and Peter Parker played a couple games of Tetris. I showed him some 90s things. I introduced him to Pokemon. It was great. It was a really good time.
What's more embarrassing, the Derrick Rose Cleveland era or the Dwayne Wade Cleveland era?
The Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
Yeah. That just looked wrong.
Because D-Rose, at least at that point, we knew he was done.
Yeah. Well, we knew D-Wade was done too, but D-Wade was just sad.
Yeah.
And then he went back to Miami and he just looked happier again.
Yeah.
But it was still sad seeing him play basketball, but at least he looked happier.
That's just called living in Cleveland. So
that is also true. And also joining us today, he was on a couple weeks ago when we did our NBA draft preview. He's back on today. Jace Murphy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. So maybe for Facebook you maybe can't hear him, but on the podcast you'll be able to hear him loud and clear. He's on speakerphone. I'm just going to let him go right into this. So Jace is starting his own podcast here soon. Now I know you sent me some audio here, and you were talking about this a little bit before we went live. So talk a little bit more about your podcast to the audience.
Okay, so I'm going to have two separate ones. One is just going to be a Jace Murphy show. It's going to be, if you're familiar with the Dan Le Batard show, it's going to be a lot like that. It's real fun, pop culture, music, a lot of sports. And the other one is, if you don't know me very well, I am a sports bettor. I go quite often. I've had the Betting Line podcast for all your degenerate sports betting needs as it gets legal all across the state. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be going on in the next month, so it's going to be a fun time.
I'm excited for you, buddy. I'm excited. I can't wait to listen. So I listened to your little bit of the Bang Line podcast, which you said to me, kind of let me critique it a little bit. I think it sounds good, bud. I think you're going to do well with those two. I'm excited to take a listen to both of them.
Yeah, I can't wait to get started. I'm really excited about the Betting Line just because it's around my favorite time of year. Well, it is my favorite time of year. It's college football season. So it's going to be, hopefully, the podcast consists of a lot of winning, a lot of units that go right. But, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen.
I'm looking at the 2017 Cleveland Cavaliers roster right now, trying to make this whole bit a thing where, Jace, I was going to have you be like whatever young prospect was on the Cavaliers at that time who, turned out to flourish and really become something good. But that doesn't exist. So hopefully you turn out better than, George Hill. Or you know what? Because this one, I know you'll really appreciate it. I'm going to make you Jeff Green.
The Celtics Jeff Green would be more of a compliment now. The Grizzlies Jeff Green, that's where it kind of goes a little south at.
Yeah.
He wasn't too bad in Washington this past year. He really wasn't.
Well, Washington, they don't have an owner. They don't have a GM. I don't know what's going on.
They have nothing, but they had Jeff Green.
Sounds like the Knicks.
Well, no, Peter, the Knicks have those things. They just don't know what in the world they're doing.
Oh.
Well, and the Knicks pretty soon might have one less fan.
Yes.
Because don't forget what we're doing later on today. We have a wheel, ladies and gentlemen.
We got a wheel. So Peter Lewis, we've been hyping this
I don't know
up.
how they can see that.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when we get to it.
I'll just walk over there with it.
Yeah.
So Peter, we've been hyping this up. Peter Lewis, he's going to be picking his new NBA team. Oh man!
So here's the deal I cut to not have the Knicks on it. I also have to cheer for the Knicks because let's be real, I made it this far in life with them, and you know what? They're such a dumpster fire now. They'll give me that entertainment.
Yeah.
I just want something that might be better. But to make it an even team since the Knicks aren't here, I put the Supersonics on it so I just become a bitter old man. I think that would be fun. Just every time we talk about the NBA, it's like, hey, you remember when those moved the Supersonics to Oklahoma City? Who wants to go to Oklahoma City?
Not Paul George.
Sorry to our Oklahoma audience.
So,
Although even then they're probably like, yeah, he's kind of right.
So speaking of the rundown, let's get into that today. So the rundown for the special 100th episode of the Views from the 573 podcast. So we've got to talk about NBA free agency. The big story broke last week. Kawhi going to the Clippers. It went down at midnight. It was like, well, I guess I'm going to stay up for another hour. I was about ready to go to bed.
Yahoo Sports of all people broke it. So for the betting line of what ridiculous thing will Kawhi use? If you had Yahoo Sports, congrats, you won some money. My PBS bet failed, but hey, there was a possibility.
No, Peter, that would have been the network Klay Thompson would have made his announcement too, because he looks like the PBS logo.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I
had to picture that in my head for a second. I'm like, wait, he's right.
I don't know how anybody's not noticed this before.
Let's get a meme going and make some followers from it.
A new meme for the 100th episode. Well, it's still an old meme, but it's a new meme for this show.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I'd never heard that one before.
Well, there you go. There's one that can keep you laughing for a few days. So we got to talk about that. We'll also let Jace and Matt give their perspectives on free agency, since me and Peter have already kind of talked about ours. So we'll let them do that. Then we'll talk about the AFC North. We are starting our NFL previews starting today, going 8 weeks long. Then right before the opening game, Thursday night, between, I believe it's the Packers and Bears?
Sounds right.
And so the day before, we'll wrap everything up. We'll make our final predictions, who wins MVP, all that stuff, who's going to win the Super Bowl.
People beat us to the Klay Thompson PBS meme. I just found it online.
Well, I know it was a thing, but hey. So we're going to talk about the AFC North today, since it makes sense. We got the resident Ravens fan and Matt Mormon here. We got two resident Steelers fans, and Jace Murphy and Peter Lewis. And we got no fans of the Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals here.
Well, we're all appreciators of the Browns in some capacity.
I think I'm out now. It's not. It's no longer.
Yeah, once they're a threat to you, that's when you realize, oh, this isn't fun anymore.
It's kind of like my love for Steph Curry and the Warriors, where it's like, for years I'm a big Steph Curry guy, and I still am a big Steph Curry guy. But for the past 2 or 3 years now, I only have worn my Steph Curry shirt once because it didn't become cool anymore to be a Steph Curry guy.
Yeah.
Because now they're winning championships and stuff.
Yeah, nobody likes him anymore.
So I like. Now I'm back in though. Now I'm gonna wear my Steph Curry shirt again because Kevin Durant's out of here and everybody's doubting him. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of like that with the Browns.
Well, I don't know. We still got Jimmy Haslam.
About to say, he's the meme who will keep on giving forever.
Freddie Kitchens was pretty early on into him and his press conferences, and it was just crazy. This guy's really Southern.
Oh yeah,
more Southern than I sound. But I know you're thinking about that about you imitating.
Yeah, my Forrest Gump voice.
Well, Matt, I really like the Grizzlies.
I like Jeff Green.
I miss the pyramid.
Oh man. So we got the FC North preview. We're going to be talking about everything going on there. We're not going to make our predictions, what the record will be. We're just going to talk about and preview each team. Then we're going to be moving towards the MLB. The All-Star game was last night. All the festivities, home run derby. We're going to talk about the MLB, kind of review it at the All-Star break, at the midway point, talk about what we think is going to happen in the next few months, who's going to make that final push, what might happen at the trade deadline, some of that stuff. And then, finally, we got to close it out with this. Some of the best storylines, moments, memes, whatever you want to call it, for 100 episodes here. And, of course, one of the memes I brought up earlier, it's got to be Herm Edwards. Although Herm Edwards isn't really a meme, but like...
Oh, he is here.
Yeah, he is here.
I mean, here we put him on the same level as probably a god, so...
To us, he's Nick Saban.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be the rundown for this week's show. So, everybody... So, let's get right on to it. So, NBA free agency. So, Kawhi Leonard, again, announcing on Yahoo Sports of all things, announces he's going to the Clippers. Nobody really knew what was going to happen with him. Everybody's saying, like, oh, it's 99% the Raptors way. Oh, he's going to the Lakers. Nobody really knew. The Clippers were kind of starting to feel like the team that had the long shot to get him. Even though they had scouts kind of like scouting him, taking a look at him, talking to like his reps throughout the season. Even though they were kind of closely linked to him, everybody's counting them out. It's like, well, the Lakers now got AD. They got their super team going, and then you got the Raptors. They just won a title. Was that enough? But no, he goes to the Clippers, and who does he bring along with him? So the Clippers, pretty much everybody else out there that was a big name is off the market now. Who does he go and get? He goes and gets Paul George. Stealthy Kawhi Leonard goes and recruits Paul George. Apparently, Kawhi is a really great recruiter. He talks to Paul George. I saw that Kawhi was kind of throwing the Lakers off there about meeting with Paul George. And so Paul George, he's going to the Clippers as well for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari to make the salary work, and 5 first-round picks. Now, that is nuts. And 4 of them, I think, were unprotected, which is crazy. And then you had a couple swaps in there. I know they traded a couple of the Miami picks that they got. I think one of
Miami's is unprotected too.
Yeah,
Miami not being very good, that could really make some hay there.
And you know what? They did that. Mo Harkless. They took on the Mo Harkless contract, threw in a first-round pick there. They got that there. So now they had multitudes of first-round picks to trade. So now it's Kawhi, Paul George teaming up. Now, if you told me that we would see this down the road, I was like, this is one of the best perimeter defenses that you're ever going to see.
Well, you add in Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, and you add in Beverley. Now, there's a slim chance this could have happened at Indiana years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Kawhi goes to Indiana, you could have had the early team up there. But now you get both these players in their prime. You have Paul George coming off of surgery a little bit, but
that was a couple years ago already.
Well, he's had work. He's had surgery recently. So
oh, did he?
Yeah, and it looks like he might miss first couple weeks of the season, possibly.
They're playing for the playoffs now. Who cares?
Yeah, and now the Clippers are looking like they're looking like possible title contender.
I mean, Doc Rivers is there, so I mean, this is the best.
Yeah, this is the best Doc Rivers team that he's had since Boston, since he had Ray Allen, Rondo, KG, Paul Pierce.
I remember what happened the first year he got all those good pieces together.
Yeah, they won a title.
Went from pretty much one of the worst teams in the East to the only 15 losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really at that point in time it was them or LeBron. Yep. That was it in the East.
Now it's battle for LA right now.
Is it a battle? Or are the Clippers just going to walk away with it?
Well, it's a 2 superstars. I will say, I like what the Lakers have done as far as like getting some of these pieces out there. So, Jace, I'm going to turn it over. You're seeing all this stuff with Kawhi and Paul George going to the Clippers. What do you make of it so far? And do you think maybe there could be a battle of LA this season?
I'm not much on the Lakers, mostly because Anthony Davis hasn't been healthy for the better part of 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's true.
Every year.
If AD stays healthy, Boogie Cousins can replicate anything he was 3 years ago, then yeah, it could very much be so. Those are 2 big ifs if AD stays healthy and Boogie Cousins stays healthy and is able to play anything like he used to. But for the Clippers, I think they're definitely the team to beat in the West. I think they're the best overall team in the West. But was going to get to the winner and loser for the free agency. I think the biggest loser wasn't an NBA team or a player or a franchise. I think it was a journalist, Chris Broussard. I don't know if you saw what he did the day before Kawhi signed. He says the Clippers are out, and it's only the Lakers and the Raptors. And the next day, he turns around and it's Clippers.
Oh yeah, it was a tough look for a lot of journalists out there, especially
It's a
Broussard.
tough job.
It is a tough job.
That's what happens when you are a journalist and trying to be a reporter.
Yeah. But yeah,
Or an NBA insider.
Yeah, it was a tough look. As far as like maybe the winners, I guess going on to free agency in general. So I guess Jace Matt, I'll let you talk more about this. I think we're getting a little bit more parity. That there's several teams out there that you could look at as like these guys could win the title this year. It's wide open. I think. I mean, Utah got better getting Conley. It's been a while since we talked about that, but yeah, that happened. So well, they do have Jeff Green now, so but Utah got good. Portland got better, even though Nurkic is going to be out for a little bit. You bring in Whiteside, you get a little bit better there. But you see if the teams
Oh, yeah, I forgot they brought in Whiteside.
Yeah. And in the East, yeah, Philly making the moves they get, even though they lost Jimmy Butler, they brought in Al Horford. I really like that pickup. And then you bring in Josh Richardson as well. I really like Richardson.
I love Jay Rich. I think Jay Rich is so good.
And I don't love him just because he's from Tennessee. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I don't love him because he's from Tennessee.
The dude is a good player. He shoots a three. He plays defense. Really good player for the Heat, and just, one of the products of the Heat culture that's been built there for so many years. But, I'll let you guys kind of take it away. Matt, Jace, whoever wants to go first. What have your thoughts been on free agency in general?
I'll go first. It's been a very fun free agency. There have been a lot of, big moves being made, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's kind of like a 4 or 5 team battle. It's just which teams they are have kind of changed. I think, now the Clippers are in that conversation, obviously. I think Golden State's still there. I think people who start sleeping on Golden State now, I think they're making a mistake because, I like the addition of D'Angelo. All things considered, if you're losing Kevin Durant, you got to get rid of Iggy for, money reasons. I think D'Angelo Russell's a good pick to bring in.
Yeah.
As kind of a young guy to kind of help build around while Clay's gone too.
They brought Willie Cauley-Stein for cheap.
Yeah, and that's a good kind of replacement of Boogie, really. Kind of an equal risk there.
I would say it's more of an upgrade because he's actually healthy. He can run the floor.
Yeah, it very well could end up being
He can
an
play
upgrade.
defense.
I also kind of look at, Utah I think has been fine, but I'm not sure if I consider them to be a title contender.
Well,
I think the Lakers, they're going to be a mess. I really don't think it's going to go well for
can
the
we get
Los
a Hard
Angeles
Knocks
Lakers.
version of the NBA, please?
That's Twitter.
That's true.
Twitter is the NBA Hard Knocks. I think the East is just as interesting as it was a year ago, though. I don't think anybody's really emerged as a heavy favorite from there. I like what the Pacers have done a lot.
Yeah,
but
now,
I don't know if it's enough to maybe call them a...
Well, now, Oladipo, he's hurt, so he's going to be out for
Right.
a couple months. But getting Brogdon, I like that.
Yep.
Now, they were rumored to get Rubio, and then that went sideways, and they ended up getting Brogdon and Jeremy
Which
Lamb.
is much better.
Yeah, much better. Shout out to Ricky Rubio and Phoenix for the next 3 years and $51 million. But, yeah,
That could be
Indiana,
Peter's new
Oh, no,
guy.
I hope not.
Peter, the little Ricky Rubio Suns jersey.
Do I get an extra spin if it lands on the Suns?
No.
Okay.
No, you do not. No.
No, when we're talking about infamous era, Jace, how about the infamous Dwight Howard era in Memphis? That was legendary, right?
Dwight Howard's in Memphis?
5 years ago, this trade would have been great if we had had Iguodala and Dwight Howard on this roster. But
Oh,
the fact
man.
that both of them are probably never going to play a second for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
what?
I don't hate the trade because the Dwight Howard trade made a lot of sense because it cleared up $3.8 million in cap space for us. Which allowed us to go after Tyus Jones, which I don't know is a good contract or not yet because I don't know what he's really done in the NBA so far. I know it hasn't been all that great, but Dwight Howard, I don't know. I can't even see him in the Grizzlies jersey.
Yeah, I don't either. Matt's looking
When
for
did this
bubble.
happen?
This happened a few days ago.
Oh
Matt-
my God. Okay, first of all, this is how far Dwight Howard has fallen. to the point where he gets traded, and both me and Peter are sitting here like, what? When did this happen?
Dwight Howard's a Grizzly? Why?
Apparently.
Why would you want him?
Well, like Jay said, it opened up cap room.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
At this point, Dwight Howard has to have been on like half the NBA teams at this point.
Oh man.
I mean, he's not quite Edwin Jackson of the MLB, but or the Flying J, Josh Johnson, but he's not too far off.
Oh no,
Just in the past like 6 years, I think he's been on 6 teams.
Oh no, yeah. And people thought like maybe something could happen in Washington.
You guys remember the days when we thought he was going to be the next Shaq? Those were the days.
You mean back in the mid 2000s?
Yeah. 6 decades ago, basically.
Man, it feels like 6 decades ago, but
hey, I'm 25 now. It does not feel like 6 decades ago.
Okay, sorry, man.
All
5.
right. 2005 wasn't that long ago. I'm not old.
So, Jace, you've seen what's happened with free agency. What are your thoughts, kind of been in general, on what's happened?
I think the competitive balance has been restored. I don't think we've seen the NBA this competitive since, I think, the 90s, when the Pistons and Bulls and Pacers and all those teams, Rockets, all of them were really good. I think there's 6 to 8 teams who think they can win a title. I think there's around 4 or 5 teams who can actually win it. But the biggest winners are obviously the Clippers.
Yes.
The Grizzlies did a lot. They're not like a playoff contender. They could be battling for an 8th spot, but they did a lot this free agency that will make strides for the future. Biggest losers are obviously the Phoenix Suns and the Raptors, I think. Another winner for me is Miami, because I don't think they're done. They didn't have anybody. They didn't have any cap room. No nothing. Couldn't sign a star, and they came away this offseason with Jimmy Butler, so that's obviously a win. And possibly Russell Westbrook, but they have a lot of stuff to figure out with the hard cap and all their cap problems right now, because I think they're right under the luxury tax.
Yeah.
So they got to figure out a lot of stuff to get Russell Westbrook. But this free agency, this period has been awesome. As much as I didn't want to see Kawhi lead the Raptors, I'm glad he's not a Laker.
Yeah.
Because that would just ruin the NBA for the next 4 years, and I would have to see LeBron win 5 more titles.
Man.
As me and Matt would say, that would have been the heel turn.
Yeah.
That would have been Kawhi joining the NWO.
Well, in my mind, as a Spurs fan, he already is a heel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what can redeem him to make him a babyface.
Oh.
I don't know what he can do. At best, I think he can become a tweener.
LeBron's going to hit Pop with a chair, and then Kawhi's music hits. He's like,
We're going
by
to
God Almighty, that's Kawhi Leonard's music. It's just silence.
Yep.
Wait, so making a basketball
His type
reference,
draw is just the word Kawhi, lowercase.
making a basketball
With
reference.
his laugh.
So LeBron throwing a chair, so he's going to become LeBron James, the Bob Knight version. But no, yeah, like I agree with that. The Lakers, they made some interesting moves, getting Danny Green, of course, Avery Bradley, like that. They bring back JaVale. They
Gotcha, Phil. How is he still in there?
I don't know.
They're playing well. Yeah. Like, he is playing well.
That's attracting a full MVP right there.
I mean, isn't Vince Carter still in the league?
Yeah.
This is his last year.
All right.
This is last
Allegedly.
So he says.
Year. Yeah, so he says. I think.
How many last years did Brett Favre have?
Well, Vince Carter is more respectable than Brett Favre to some people, probably. So that's probably true. Some people.
He hasn't even thrown a touchdown.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no. They signed Boogie. You did bring up Westbrook, so let's kind of talk about Westbrook for a little bit. So I don't know what's going on at OKC. So who knows what's going on at OKC? But maybe it's something internal with the front office. But and if you're trading Westbrook, the guy's been loyal to you through everything, through and through all the trading Harden stuff, KD stuff. He's been loyal, but
hang on, Ryan. Has he been loyal or has he been selfish?
he's been both. I'm not gonna lie
I think
there.
it's more selfish because he gets to be the star of his team. It's kind of what Kyrie had said a couple years ago in Cleveland, that he didn't want to play with LeBron. I think it's more of that, and the fact that everybody else leaves makes him like the last man standing, so he gets to kind of feel like, I am the savior of this franchise. I can go get my 30 and a triple-double every night. I don't know if it's I'm standing for the Oklahoma City Thunder, or if it's I'm my own guy, and this just happened to be what was best for me. for the past 7 years.
Well, he can get his jersey retired right next to Nick Collison's.
Remind me of that, Ryan. We're not going to do it right now because we're going to finish up free agency first. But I want to talk about the freaking Golden State retiring jerseys over here. We'll get there. Let's do that after free agency. Production meeting real quick, all right?
Well,
we're doing that.
Well, aren't we wrapped up with the free agency?
Are we? Okay. Then I'm going on to this.
Okay. I want to hear
Sorry,
this.
Westbrook. Okay. Because I'm going to go talk about Kevin Durant now. So, Golden State, they announced after KD signed with Brooklyn, they're going to retire the number 35. No Golden State Warriors ever going to wear the number 35 again. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The dude played for you for, 3 years?
Yes.
He joined a 73-win team. The dynasty was already in the making or really being solidified before he shows up. Okay, fine. He's Kevin Durant, whatever. Now they're going to retire Andre Iguodala's number, which I think is better than retiring KD.
Yeah.
Because Iggy really helped develop the team as a whole. He was a veteran leader. He was the captain.
He was just as important part of the dynasty than anybody.
He was maybe the most important, really.
Yeah.
Because I think he helped Klay Thompson develop a ton.
Yeah.
I think he helped Steph Curry develop a lot.
Yeah.
And, he was the finals MVP of your first one.
Yeah.
I think Iggy is more important to the Golden State Warriors dynasty legacy than Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
KD should not have that number retired.
And KD goes to Brooklyn, changes his number to begin with. It's like,
changes the number.
Who cares?
I don't know what's that about.
Yeah, I don't know. But the retiring Kevin Durant's number thing is kind of ridiculous to me. And if you do it for him, you now have to do it for sure for Iggy, which they're doing. Thank goodness, because I was worried that one would get lost in the shuffle.
You got to do it for Steph. You have to.
Yeah, of course.
And
Steph, Klay, Draymond. I think Sean Livingston at this point gets his retired.
Just retire the team.
Patrick McCaw gets his retired.
Hey, he's a GOAT. He's won 3.
Kevin Looney gets his retired.
Hey, McCall's the GOAT. He's won 3 titles in 3 years.
At this point,
that's efficiency.
I'm thinking they go ahead and they should retire D'Angelo Russell's number. Mm-hmm. They were retiring Kevin Durant's number.
What they should have done for KD is have the Draymond quote, "We won it without you. We don't need you."
Exactly. I can't believe I'm Team Draymond here.
Oh, man. What's the world coming to?
David Lee should have his number retired.
Draymond, they just put a statue of him up in the Raptors.
Have you hanging from there?
Oh, no. Have you guys seen the viral video of somebody just literally hanging a Kawhi Leonard Raptors jersey in their home?
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? Kawhi Leonard's number. It should be retired by Golden State Warriors if they're retiring Kevin Durant's number. Ridiculous. I was not happy about
They
this.
should retire my Knicks fanship.
I'm sorry, Jace, what are you saying?
I was going to say, Toronto. There's rumors that Toronto's going to retire Kawhi's number.
That's absolutely asinine. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
1 year.
He did bring a title to a country who's never won anything in basketball. He did something that no one else has ever done, and then win the title outside the U.S. But I don't think he should be retired, but I can understand the reasoning behind it.
Should Toronto retire Drake's number?
Well, yeah, and Kyle Lowry for sure then, too, I think. No question about it. If you're retiring one of your stars, you need to retire all your stars then.
Yeah.
Especially when it's the guy who I think was just the last. Okay, so, let's just say, hypothetically, this year MLB trade deadline, whatever, Madison Bumgarner gets traded to whoever goes and wins the World Series, and he was a stud pitcher for them. Should that team retire Madison Bumgarner's jersey for 4 months of playing for them? I don't think so.
Retiring numbers is just a very messy thing.
Well, yeah. I think it's good for the established legends of your team.
Yeah, on the Pirates, Roberto Clemente's retired. That should be the case.
Yeah.
But they also retired, Bill Marzowski's number 9. He had the greatest ending to a World Series ever, but after that, he's just an average player. David Freeze's 23 is never going to be retired, but they will.
But you know what? That's a great example of one,
But they will move out of that moment forever.
Oh, no, absolutely, as they should. I believe for the Ravens, I think right now the only ones are. Okay, so they have a few left over from the Baltimore Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. As far as the Ravens go, Michael McCrary, I guess that's fine. He was there for 5 years, kind of one of the best defensive players for the start of it. Peter Boulware, Jonathan Ogden, Matt Stover, Jamal Lewis, Ray Lewis, Todd Heap, Ed Reed. Mm-hmm. That's a good group.
Yes.
And honestly, off the top of my head right now, I can't think of anybody ritired that I would add into that group.
Nah.
No.
Not Mason, even though he holds every career receiving record. No. I think Terrell Suggs will. CJ Mosley shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You were here for 4 years.
Yeah.
But that's the equivalent of doing the Kevin Durant though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'll say, if anything, unofficially retired KD's number. Because the Steelers, the only one I think retired is Mean Joe Green.
Yeah.
Everybody else is unofficial, like, Terry and all them. So
I don't really mind the idea of having the ceremony and having their name go up there and all that stuff. It's good, but I think you should reserve that for like the top tier team Hall of Fame guys.
Yes.
The guys where if you think of that franchise, that picture immediately goes in your head of that guy.
Let's be real. We're probably going to associate KD more with the Thunder, I guess, in the long term.
Could be Brooklyn.
Yep.
It could be. Yeah, it depends on what happens there.
I think there's a perfectly realistic chance to be associated more with Brooklyn than we do Golden State.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to say when we were talking about the NBA was it became the NHL finally, where there's the top guys that you can see winning, but we're not going to be surprised if someone makes a move like the Blues did.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
There's parity again.
Yes, to a point.
It's not Warriors, LeBron guaranteed. It's going to be something different.
Yeah. With bringing up Westbrook again.
I think it'd be great if it was the Warriors. I would love that so much. I think that'd be great.
We're
really do.
Bringing up Westbrook again. He could be a New York Knick, Peter. That's a segue. We're going to the wheel.
Oh. Is it time?
It's time.
We're doing it.
Oh, boy.
I thought. Okay. I didn't realize it was so soon.
It's time for the wheel.
I thought this was the main event.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
This is the wheel. It's time for the wheel, everybody.
God, I'm going to have this whole thing hanging over me for the rest of the pod.
So, Peter, I don't know how we're going to do this for the audio, but we're going to walk over to the Facebook Live.
You know what, Ryan? How about you bring it over here temporarily, just for the sake of it?
Get ready, America. You're about to move.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
Ryan will...
Well, if all of our watchers in LA, don't worry. This is not an earthquake. Ryan is just moving the tripod. That was the most insensitive joke I've made the entire podcast. I apologize.
mean, it wasn't, wasn't that bad damage-wise.
All right.
Well, you know what, Matt?
Peter, I feel like you need to click the wheel.
It's
your wheel.
I did tell Peter that he could become a Spurs fan with this. And Peter told me that's the most disgusting thing you've ever told me.
Yeah, here's the thing. Me and Matt need to disagree on everything.
I agree. You know what? I think it would be best for business if you land on the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
My official prediction,
Mark
however...
Cuban, are you kidding me? Yes.
I think you land on... Give me the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think you can zoom.
Oh, all right.
You just need to hold it up closer. Here, I'll hold the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, America, that works for you.
Yeah, that's the wheel.
All right. No going back. Here we go.
And...
Oh, it's the Raptors.
What? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, Canada. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
We're going to the Great
About
White
1 year
North.
too late.
Oh, man.
You know what, though, Peter? You cannot claim the championship that just happened. You were not a fan of that team.
I'm a fan now. What are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
You were not a fan of that team.
Oh, boy. Oh, no. Raptors fan.
They're
in the house.
They are never winning another title.
No.
Peter, what do you want to say to your new friend Drake?
Drake, about to say, I was a bandwagoner for a long time. I get you, but you know what? We have a chance now, buddy.
And you would become a Raptors fan as soon as Kawhi leaves.
Okay, so I just spun the wheel again for, kicks and giggles. I got the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is operating this website. I was like, I'm just going to spin the wheel for fun. Let's just It got the Clippers.
Spin it a third time to see what happens. It's probably going to be the Nets.
It's got to be Spurs, right?
It's going to be the Nets like the Grizzlies or Spurs.
Oh, no.
Or the Supersonics.
Oh, no. What's it going to land on?
The 76ers.
Oh, man.
These are all very competitive teams.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. The Raptors.
Well, they just won the title, Ryan.
They do. Hey, you get Marcus Gasol. You're a fan of Marcus Gasol now.
About to say, we now have audio and video proof. I'm not a bandwagoner.
Wow.
I use a wheel on the internet to decide.
That's the only logical way.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was good.
The only reason I was a Knicks fan for so long is my favorite colors were blue and orange. The Knicks were blue and orange, so hey, why not? And that's how the nightmare began.
Well, why aren't you a Mets fan then?
Because the Pirates, unfortunately, were the NL team first.
So there we go,
so weirdly enough,
everybody.
my two NBA teams are from the East. The West did not win.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
And both from the same division, I think, too.
NBA divisions don't matter.
Yeah.
But hey, Toronto Raptors fan Peter Lewis is now in the house.
Wow.
We can officially say that now. That's so weird.
NBA, look at you. You're wearing a Stanley Cup shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You're wearing a Blues championship shirt, which not only is the 2019 champion, just like the Raptors, is hockey, which is Canadian, just like your Toronto Raptors.
That's.
You are a Canadian already, eh?
Oh, I know.
Oh.
You're not nice enough to be Canadian.
No, I'm the anti-Canadian.
The throwback to our entertainment pod, it's a contrast from the Netherlands guys in the Far From Home prison.
Throwback from that podcast is going to come out in like 2 weeks.
Yes, I know. We got 2 podcasts coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we got entertainment. We got the DCEU, which Toronto Raptors fan Peter Lewis constructed.
It's going to be a nightmare.
I can't believe you got the Raptors.
There's a method to one's madness. There's not a method to Peter's madness at all. Not at all.
I should ask, without Kawhi, are the Raptors still competitive?
Nah.
They really went all in. Like, they traded away DeMar.
Oh.
Yeah.
They really went all in on the 1 year, and it paid off. I would say they're going to be competitive adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
But they might get stuck in that San Diego Chargers purgatory, but because you won a title, it's all worth it. Now, you didn't win a title, though, Peter.
No.
You did not.
No.
Peter's going to be like the next 40 years. It's going to be like the Knicks.
I just can't freaking believe you got the Raptors.
Y'all got a good
NBA
GM in Masai
champions.
Ujiri. You have a
Of
good
all
GM,
teams.
Peter.
Yep.
He couldn't get the
What's
Wizards.
that like? What does it feel like
He
to
couldn't
be
get
a
the
fan of a team that has
Suns.
a competent GM?
Got like 6 people talking to me at once. I don't know what to follow.
He couldn't get any of these crappy freaking teams. He couldn't get the Seattle Supersonics that were on there. He
Peter,
got the freaking Raptors.
The Supersonics would have been best for business because I would just complain
Yeah.
about every NBA. Every time we talk about it, it's like, hey,
It's not as good as it used to be.
No.
Yep. I remember when Ray Allen was draining threes.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
oh, man, yeah.
are we still live?
Yeah, I had to make sure for a second. I saw my phone. I was like, oh, wait, are we still good? So,
Ryan
about
just
saying-
steering right to the living room there.
If there was any point to ever just stop a recording for live, it's after something stupid like
well, this is the stupid podcast.
Oh,
This is celebrating our stupidity.
you
so
remember
far.
when we tried to make this serious and then we were just like, you know what? We don't want to be typical. Let's be fun.
Yeah. But, no, so, Peter, you're now a fan of a team that is a competent GM.
Great history, great 90s uniforms.
Yeah, they are great uniforms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great lizard.
All right, so we've done that crazy, stupid part now. So Peter's now a fan of the Toronto Raptors.
Woo! We the North.
Rest in peace, his #1 team in the Knicks.
You're now the backup trash fire that I get to watch and have fun with.
Have fun with your 75 power forwards that you're signing now. So moving on now to the NFL. So we're starting our NFL preview this week, everybody. We're starting our college football preview next week. So that's again all this.
This
stuff,
is the point where
it's
we
like
have
last
Matt sigh that he will not be available.
Yeah. If only he could come back for the NFL previews, he would.
I can show for like 15 minutes and then go.
Yeah.
We immediately transition to college. He just hangs up immediately. Doesn't say anything. Just like, that's all I need.
But we immediately mentioned Herm. It's like,
ya.
oh, wait, you guys are talking about Herm? Oh, let me get my 2
Well,
cents here.
eventually when we get to the Pac-12.
Yeah, eventually we'll get to the Pac-12.
I might have to do that show.
And we got Mike Leach as well. Everybody loves Mike Leach. The dude's
Oh, I
crazy.
love Mike Leach.
Oh, man. Maybe come back into the SC. We got Ed
Yeah,
Orgeron.
oh, go Tigers. Go Tigers. Oh,
My-
yeah.
Matt, I don't know if you've seen this. There was he was doing a press conference in like the practice facility at LSU, and his players were just practicing in the background, making noise like, "Hey guys, I'm doing a press conference. Keep it down." He goes back and just like they start making noise. He goes like, "Guys, I am on a press conference. Be quiet."
Be quiet. Go Tigers.
It's like I don't want to see the third time when Ed Orgeron has to
Oh,
get out.
no.
Oh, man.
He's nice the first 2 times, man.
Yeah.
That third time, he's going to be raging.
The first time it's a very loud, "Hey guys, I'm on the press conference."
Yeah. All right, so AFC North. We're starting with the North because, of course, why not?
Well, we the North, as Peter now knows.
Yeah, that's Peter saying now. That's a slogan. We the North. So we're starting with the North. Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, all those things that we're going to be covering. So, do we want to go in alphabetical order, or who wants to go first?
Let's start with, I think, the Bengals, because I feel like they're the sleeper.
I agree.
Yeah.
The sleeper that everybody's sleeping on.
Mm-hmm. And I agree, because I've been disagreeing with you for a while about if they're real. I think because the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Browns are now ahead, which I can't believe I'm saying the Browns are ahead
I
of
know.
them. We are in Bizarro World.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
don't like it.
it's a open division, I would say.
It is. I can squint and see all 4 teams winning it. So the Bengals last year went 6-10 in a season when they missed 16 games combined from Andy Dalton, Joe Mixon, AJ Green, and Tyler Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of those guys in the lineup together for a season, they could have the best offense in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And new coach Zach Taylor. Hey, it's not Marvin Lewis. Now the defense is bad. The defense was the worst defense in the NFL last year, and I don't see that getting much better.
And you're in the division with the Steelers defense. That's saying something,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can see a world where the defense just gets a little bit better, and the offense. I think that offense can put up fireworks if the line is good.
It's what
and
the Steelers have done.
Jonah Williams already. That's not good.
It's been the Steelers' MO for a decade. Just score, score, and hope to God the defense doesn't give up more than 45.
Yeah. The defense just make one good stop a game, and you're there.
Save your energy for the end.
I'm just saying, I think I have not found like a single person who said the Bengals have even a fighter's chance in this division. And I think they do. That's as far as I'm willing to give them credit for. I think it's the least likely of the 4.
Well,
but they could go 9-7.
I'll throw in, with the offense to kind of help them. They did draft Jonah Williams in the first
But he's
round.
out for the year.
Yeah, he's out for the year, torn labrum.
Right.
That hurts. He was a really good pick.
That was part of what was really getting me hyped up to pick them.
Yeah. And so that doesn't happen. Now, Jace, I'm going to get you involved on the Bengals because I'm looking at some betting lines here. And the Bengals at 6 wins, -20, -120, and then even. What do you think about the Bengals and and those odds? Is 6 wins possible for them, or could you see them going under or over?
6 wins is the most they're going to get this year. Yeah, I think Andy Dalton's not a good quarterback. He's only been good as AJ Green has. I think no one's really exposed him, or no one's really talked about him. His numbers are okay, but he's never going to win you a Super Bowl. He's never going to win you 10 games by himself. But I don't think the Bengals really have any kind of shot this season. Now they might. I don't know how the new coach is. I don't know if he's a quarterback whisperer or whatnot. But I don't think the Bengals win more than 6 games. I would definitely take the under.
Jace, I have a question for you. I'm not entirely sure how the betting works. Is the payout the same if you take the under as opposed to the over there?
Did you say, Ryan? Did you say the 6 was even, or was the was the over even?
I think the way they have it here, 6 wins, -20, -120, and then they had even right after that.
Okay, so if you bet the over on 6 wins, if you bet $120, you make $100. That's what that -120 means. That -120 means that's how much it takes to win $100 profit.
So if I think they're going to go over, in order for me to get 100, I need to bet 120?
Yeah, in order for you to profit $100. So if you bet 120 and they win 7 games, you will collect $220.
Oh, okay. So I get 100 more than what I bet. Okay.
Right.
I don't hate that. I think I would go the over there. I really do.
Yeah. I'll say from
let me see if I can find their schedule.
For the under, if you bet $100, you're going to walk with $200. It's just even money.
Okay. That makes sense.
I will say from a draft standpoint, it wasn't terrible. Jonathan Williams, they got an offensive lineman from Bama.
Yeah, but he's out for the year.
Yeah. So again, not immediately.
That one hurts.
Drew Sample, tight end out of Washington in the 2nd round. It's not exactly the biggest need they needed, but it is certainly a playmaker.
Yeah.
Jermaine Pratt, outside linebacker from NC State. I think it could work.
Hey, drafted Ryan Finley.
Now that's what I really want to get to. Is Andy Dalton officially on the hot seat?
Yeah, and that's fine. I think he should be. I mean, he's had a couple years that have been really nice years. You know, you had the 2013 year where he threw 33 touchdowns, and he did throw 20 interceptions that year. But you had the 2015 where he threw 25 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. I just think that there's potential for them to have a nice season. I think 9-7 is the upside of it. And I think there's a world where 9-7 could win the division if everybody steals wins from each other.
That's the thing.
You know,
going on, these teams are kind of even.
Yeah, they really
I don't really
are.
think anybody sticks out.
Well, the Browns stick out from a talent perspective.
Yeah.
But super inexperienced.
Like I say, we'll get to them soon. They're the
Well, we can go ahead and transition. I think we've said pretty much all we say about the Bengals if we just want to go on to the Browns.
Yeah.
So the Browns, super inexperienced. We know all the moves they've made,
Yeah.
right? You know that they bring in Odell. You've got second year out of Baker. All these things. You know, head coach Freddie Kitchens never been a head coach before. You know, how well will that go trying to keep these personalities in line? Because there are a lot of guys. They have the upside to win the Super Bowl, but they have the downside of being a complete dumpster fire.
That's the thing. Talent's great and all, but like the Celtics, if you're not meshing, that could destroy you.
Oh, yeah, we saw that with the Celtics last
And
year.
we love Baker because he's passionate. We love Odell because he's passionate.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things I don't love about both those
two together.
Hey, the first Church of Baker reference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Church of Baker's back, kids.
There we go.
Hail our Lord and Savior. Have to say that legally, so I am officially a church.
Also, the offensive line took a little bit of a downgrade this offseason.
Yeah.
They traded away one of their pieces. Also, like, I know he was good last year, but Greg Robinson is their left tackle. And as somebody who lives in the St. Louis area, he's still Greg Robinson to me. You know, if he's terrible, you know, like we've seen bad offensive lines sink every quarterback except for what, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So assuming Baker Mayfield's not at that level yet, you know, maybe he gets there someday. I don't know. But a bad offensive line can sink anyone.
Yeah, even though they have a developing star in Chubb, if it's not good, he could be halted.
Yeah.
Because again, I think they still have Duke, right?
For now, but
Yeah, for now.
he's trying to get traded.
Yeah. I mean, he's still an obvious pass catcher. And they also have Kareem Hunt after
Eventually.
8 weeks, I
Yeah.
think. That was
Yeah.
suspension.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, slow him the first, 2 weeks after. So you might get 6 big games after him, potentially, which could be good for the AFC. So I think that's a factor. It's not going to be immediate, but it could be down the road.
Yeah, I think so. Again, you make all these big additions.
Yeah,
You're wondering
tons of big moves.
And you wonder how the chemistry is going to work.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to be...
Sheldon, by the way, on the defensive end of things, you've got Sheldon Richardson brought in. We know what kind of a headache he's been before for the Jets. But also a great player in the past. He's kind of not really done much past couple of years, but,
Yeah.
that's another one.
Maybe Jimmy Haslam's psychology is that Odell was a headache because there was no other headache to... I think maybe if he thinks Baker and him can clash, they can come to some sort of awkward agreement. I don't know. Again,
That's not a great idea. That sounds very Oakland Raider to me.
it's very Jimmy Haslam.
Can we get them on Hard Knocks as well this year, please? I know we got the Raiders on, and that's going to be fun, but can we get the Browns on, too?
I think we said just 1 week the plane accidentally departs to Cleveland instead of Oakland, so the camera crew's just like, all right, let's do Cleveland for a week. Why not?
Yeah, people will still tune in. It's still going to be a fun show. But, so, Jace, the bet lines for the Browns, 9 wins, minus 130, plus 110. What do you think about those odds for the Browns?
I like them. I personally think they're the best team in the division, especially from a talent standpoint. They're going to be as good as Baker Mayfield is this year, bottom line. And I would be willing to bet on Baker Mayfield. I would take the over. I think they're going to win 10 games. I think they're going to win 10 at most because I think that division, everyone's going to steal a game from each other at some point. I don't think one team's going to beat the Steelers twice or the Browns twice or the Bengals twice. The Ravens twice. I think every team's going to be in that 10-6, 9-7, 8-8 range besides the Bengals.
Yeah, it does look like a division that it's going to be tough to steal 2 games from any team.
Somebody will, but I have no idea who.
Yeah.
It'll happen,
It's a
but I have no idea who
I
it's gonna
think
be.
it's going to happen to anybody. The Bengals will be the one that go 0-2 against one of the teams. I just feel like they're the more obvious pick.
I could see
But
a
again,
world where,
Mike Tomlin's style playing down to opponents.
Yeah,
he could
exactly.
easily be 0-2 to the Ravens or Browns.
they could go to the Bengals.
Yeah, about to say, just the Bengals.
the way that Mike Tomlin plays down to everybody. Yeah.
Is that a good segue for
Speaking
the
of Mike
Steelers?
Tomlin.
Yeah.
So the Steelers have had one interesting offseason, Jason Peter.
I'm going to say this. I think it was for the better. Because you were not going to... Let's be real. Le'Veon was never going to come back.
No,
Yeah, no.
which I don't even think about that one as a loss.
No.
Yeah.
But especially if James Conner, the offensive line is still fine, I'm not concerned.
Yeah. And plus you got your new guy, Benny Snell.
Yeah, Benny Snell, if they start using him as the power back, because that's the one thing I think Conner could not replicate that Le'Veon could. Le'Veon is the best running back in the game. He can do everything. and that's good for the Jets.
Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
But okay.
Well, I mean, if
Todd
it's,
With a
Gurley's
healthy
hurt.
knee.
yeah, I was just about to say.
Todd Gurley without arthritis. But hey, Le'Veon Bell without a contract. All right? Like, we all have problems here, guys.
Le'Veon's rapping in his Pittsburgh suburb mansion as the Steelers lose games. That was the greatest.
Yeah.
But I will say that getting rid of AB was the smartest move. I
Yeah.
wish they could.
Yeah.
I wish they could have finessed more out of the Raiders because you probably could have done it. But you know what? They did well with the picks. We're good.
It's John Gruden, Peter.
Yeah.
That's who you're dealing with.
I think Tomlin, even if he doesn't change his ways, he now realizes, oh boy, we're not guaranteed anymore like the Patriots.
Yeah, no.
So I think Big Ben is going to be the wild card. That's the one wild card left.
Yeah, he is.
He's the guy who goes on the Pittsburgh radio shows and trash talks his teammates and then goes in the locker room the next day thinking nothing's wrong.
Well, I know people question whether he was still a leader in this offseason, and he's done all this stuff to kind of build that reputation back up. Like, hey, I still get along with these guys. I can still be a leader in the locker room.
His ego clearly knows this team can make it to a Super Bowl, and if he gets 3, he's up there in terms
Yeah.
of maybe the greats.
Yeah, and he's
maybe
got,
undeservedly, but
he's-
we have to say something.
he's got Juju as his number one now.
That's the thing. Juju's going to be good. He's going to be the obvious number 1.
Yes.
However, he was on par with the volume AB was getting. So it's not like he can take more. So that means James
Well, he actually had more receptions than AB last year, I believe.
That's what I'm saying. They were close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So James Washington is going to have to step up dramatically, which I think he can, but it's not going to be the easiest transition.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. They're other wide receivers.
I like the rookie Deontay Johnson. I think that's who I'm looking at
They also
more
got
than James Washington.
I think they got Dante
Moncrief.
Moncrief, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have a veteran there who can help out. So
Yeah, they have a veteran there, but can he really help out? Is he actually good?
I feel like he's always been on my fantasy teams for some reason. So
Well, it's going to be an interesting here. And Jace, you're the other Steelers fan here on the pod. Well, what's your take with all this? Did the Steelers kind of help themselves, addition by subtraction here, not having Le'Veon come back, trading AB? What do you think about the Steelers this upcoming season?
I'm not confident at all. I love my Steelers, and I'm not going to be biased in this. I don't think they're going to win more than 8 games this year. And now I hope James Washington, Moncrief work out. I think James Washington's going to be a good receiver in this league. It could be a great year offensively. Defense is still going to be bad, but I don't know. I don't think Ben's going to have a good year. I think Ben's going to really take the fall. I think this will be his last year in the league, in my opinion. But we'll see. But I'd take the under on them for their win total. I think they're only going to win 8 games.
Well, I'm looking at one right now. They have the over-under at 9, and they have it at minus 125 and plus 105.
So the plus 105 means they go under those 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd make $205 off a $100 bet. So yeah, I'd definitely take that. I'd take the under for me this year. And it's hard to say that. 'Cause, I always like to say my teams have a chance, but I think the Steelers' era for Ben is over.
I'm looking at their schedule, and if we looked at the talent, this is a team that can win at least 10. However,
They can.
I don't know what Mike Tomlin's strategy is anymore. Is he going to play football, or is he going to be like, let's rest? Because I think they open week 1 with the Patriots. They always play the Patriots tough. They could win that game. And I think they will.
And they're going to
In
lose to the
Foxborough.
Jaguars.
Yeah. So I think they could win that, but then they have Seahawks and 49ers, 2 basically wild cards. They're not the best they used to be, so I don't know if Mike thinks he should play them hard. But they have the weapons needed that can abuse the Steelers' defense and put them down. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and then, of course, it's, Bengals. They have the Chargers again. I could easily see them losing to the Cardinals, Bills, and Jets for no good reason whatsoever.
Definitely the Bills.
Yeah.
That Bill, that's week 15.
Josh Allen.
You're like right there on the brink of the playoffs.
Which is-
it's a home game.
What
it's
happened
a team
la-
you feel like you should be.
What happened
Yeah,
last
they're
year
gonna
with
crap that. They're
Yeah.
gonna crap on that game.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's no
has-
question.
Josh Allen has a career game.
Hey, I love me some Josh Allen. I like it.
He's going to run for 100 yards on him.
The upside, if the Steelers are more team-oriented, could be 10 wins. But my cynicism with Mike Tomlin says this could be a less than 500 year.
One thing on Connor, I'd like to see some more consistency. I feel like there were some games last year he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Like I kind of just want to see him be more involved every game. I don't know. it's one of those things. It's not like a huge gripe. I'm not saying he sucks, but I want to think of James Conner as like, for fantasy purposes, a bona fide first rounder, and I'm just not quite there.
Yeah,
he's in the Devontae Freeman world for me, where it's like I want to like you more, I just never quite do. And I was there with Freeman for feels like a decade, and I just don't want to. I just don't want James Conner to be the next Devontae Freeman.
Because he had all the support, but never like really truly stood out on his own.
Yeah. And, I mean, much like Freeman always had Julio and Roddy, or Gonzalez was there for a little bit, and, you have Matt Ryan. I mean, Connor's got guys around him, too. But we'll see. I don't know. The Steelers' defense, I think, is going to be very important this year. And if they can actually be good at defense for a year, I think that could be huge.
I think Watt steps up. I love the trade.
He already has.
I love the trade for Devin Bush, so that's another X factor. The secondary, as always, when isn't it the wild card?
Right.
Defensive line's still good enough, so... Unless they trade somebody, I forgot about it, but I don't think that was the case. So there's hope in Pittsburgh, but let's not hold our breath. Mike Tomlin is still the head coach.
Did the Steelers play the Jaguars this year?
Nope.
Okay, I was going to say, if we play the Jags this year, that's going to be one loss. We're going to lose one.
What's Jalen Ramsey going to say about Big Ben this year?
You know who I want to hear Jalen Ramsey talk about?
Who?
I want to hear Jalen Ramsey talk about Lamar Jackson.
Well, we have you for that, man.
We do have me for that.
We have you that, and you can do it for free.
We do. I sure do.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the Ravens, guys.
Yeah. So where's the Ravens fan?
I am excited. I am optimistic. I am cautious a little bit, but I think that Lamar is primed for a really good second year throwing the football. I think they're going to really emphasize that. I think you don't spend 2 of your first 3 draft picks on wide receivers if you plan on running the ball 60 times.
Yeah, you draft Justice Hill, too, another one.
Yeah, a pass catching running back.
Yeah.
So I think those are all really good signs. Because as much as I liked the Lamar offense for last year, I said it at the time that this wasn't going to be able to last forever. This was going to get exposed, and the Chargers did in the playoffs, and I'm happy they did, because it forced the Ravens to make the evolution they need to do.
And I think the natural one of the things you talk about, the natural involvement of Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. You draft these guys, Brown, Boykin, and Hill. You mentioned a pass-catching running back.
Yep.
The screen game is essentially an extension of the running game.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big part of the offense, I think.
Yeah, especially with guys like Hill and Brown, both guys that can get up the field really quick, especially with Brown.
Yep.
And I definitely think that that's going to be the thing this year, is the natural evolution of Lamar Jackson as a quarterback, what he's going to be able to do as far as throwing the ball. We know what he can do running the ball.
Yeah. And I think the legs will still be a part of the offense. That'll be there. You're not going to have Lamar Jackson at your quarterback and not use that. But I think in order for him to survive and be a quarterback, he has to get better at throwing. And I think he can. His rookie year, just throwing, I would argue it was better than Trubisky or Jared Goff or even Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So I think, just kind of looking at what those guys have become, you can look at Lamar Jackson and say, well, why can't he take the next step the way those guys did?
Yeah.
In their second years.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they have a new offensive coordinator, the guy who worked with Tyrod. He worked with Kaepernick. So these are quarterbacks who are mobile, who use their legs.
Oh, yeah, Greg Roman.
Also through Greg Roman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that. I really like that addition.
I will say the schedule is kind of tricky because early on you do face Kansas City week 3.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. But hey, we almost beat them last year. I mean, we were one fumble away from having a chance at winning that game at the end.
And there's the key word for my only concern with Lamar Miller. It's the fumbles.
Lamar Jackson,
yeah. He had 8 lost fumbles?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
He didn't really take over completely until week 10. He was always in the
right. He was always
conversation.
Gadget you
because they didn't know what to do with Joe Flacco at that point.
He had 7 starts.
Okay.
So would that be week 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
But also, so you mentioned, Flacco came into the season as the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing watching the Ravens offense a lot last year is it never looked to me like Lamar was comfortable with the plays they were asking him to do as a passer at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that is because those plays were made for Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And now they have a whole – that's why Roman, I think, is so big. because he's going to give Lamar, because like Joe Flacco is never doing a bootleg and throwing on the run.
No.
That's one thing Lamar, I think, can do a lot of, is kind of bootleg, get himself in space, and then make the throw. And I think that these are things that are going to draw into the offense and use his legs while throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And those are things that are not going to be drawn up when Joe Flacco is the plan.
No.
You know, you're never, ever, ever planning on Joe Flacco to do a fake read option and then throw.
If you did,
That's
like,
not a thing.
Flacco's going to look like Jay Cutler when he tried to do the Wildcat. He just stands
Yeah,
like,
he just stands there.
Why?
And he did that, too, when Flacco was lined up at wide receiver. He just stood there.
It's like, what are you doing, coach?
What do you want me to do? You want me to block?
Why he was on the field for some of those, I don't know.
I think another thing here with the Ravens is you do lose some key pieces on defense.
Yeah.
Weddle, Mosley, you lost Suggs. You did bring in a couple defenders.
This feels like the polar opposite what I've expected from Ravens teams in the past, where I was always scared of the defense, not so much the offense. Now it's the opposite. I'm terrified what the offense can become. Defense-wise, they're still fine.
They got Earl, they brought Earl Thomas.
Earl's huge.
Yeah, Earl's huge.
And one of the big things with Earl is Tony Jefferson, when he was with the Cardinals, was very good in the box. He was very good coming up and making stops on the run and basically being an extra linebacker. Well, with Earl, I think they can, and the Ravens, by the way, have schemed this many, many times back when this guy Ed Reed was playing center field for him.
Who's that guy?
He was a free safety. He was very, very good. And what they would do, Ryan, is they'd have Ed Reed basically one-man center field free safety, and they would take the strong safety, whether it be Will Hill or Bernard Pollard or DeJuan Landry for many years, and basically act as another linebacker. And I think they're going to do a lot of that this year. And assuming Earl is still Earl, that's the one caveat here. Assuming Earl is still Earl, I think Earl can do that. And with Marlon Humphrey and Tavon Young and Jimmy Smith and Brandon Carr, in my opinion, making up the best corners in the NFL as far as, a team is concerned, I think they can have Tony be an extra linebacker.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help out Owusu. I think that's going to help out Kenny Young a lot. And for the pass rush, Suggs was very limited. Mm-hmm. And I think Tim Williams can kind of give me what Terrell Suggs would give me this year.
The dude was a good pass rusher at Bama.
He was, and he's had flashes of moments in his Ravens career.
The dude can get up the field.
I think Matthew Judon is a sleeper for being among the top 10, top 5 in sacks this year. I think Judon is on his way to being a monster.
You also drafted Jalen Ferguson.
Yep, I like Ferguson a lot. I think he's going to play a ton.
Dude, 4-year guy as well.
So,
really
he broke Terrell Suggs' sack record in college.
Which, that's funny.
So, you never know.
There's irony.
I trust the defense. I trust the defensive coaching staff, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at some point, I think you can just say for certain teams in certain spots, I just trust the coaches. And for the Ravens defense, I trust the coaches. Because they scheme everything, and the Ravens really, since Ed and Ray and Sizzle were in their primes, it's not like we've really had that many dominant players.
Yeah.
And they've kind of made it work with other guys.
It's just been a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and I think
a
that
bunch of
continues.
good guys, chemistry, build that up.
Yep. Yeah. And I think Marlon Humphrey's a top 5 corner in the NFL. I think he's awesome. So that makes life a little bit easier. So I'm not worried about the defense. And by the way, I'm definitely not worried about special teams.
Jace, you're hearing
for whatever that's worth.
You're hearing all this stuff about the Ravens. I'm taking a look at some of the betting lines right here for the Ravens. So the Ravens right now are favored at 8.5 wins.
That sounds about right.
Plus 105, minus 125. Oh, what do you think about the Ravens' odds to get over under 8.5 wins?
I think it's a risky bet, but if I had to pick, I'd pick them to go over. I think the Browns and the Ravens are both going to win more than 9, or they'll be right at 9. I think Steelers will go 8-8, 7-9, and the Bengals 6-10. But I'd take the over on Baltimore. They're going to be good as Lamar Jackson is, and if he can prove that he can throw the ball, he has some good receivers next to him, then it should be a fun year for Ravens fans. I don't really despise the Ravens like a lot of Steelers fans do, but I think it's a fun time to be a Ravens fan. You get to transition out of the Joe Flacco era pretty smoothly with Lamar, but it's a fun time for Baltimore. I think they're going to be around 8 to 9 wins.
That sounds about right, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah, and that's the thing is because I do think there's going to be some inconsistencies with Lamar. There's going to be a game or two where he does not look.
I think so. He's a second-year quarterback.
Right. Yeah, and find me very many quarterbacks who didn't, second-year quarterbacks who didn't have those games.
I was real. Baker's going to have some bad games his second year.
Absolutely.
Even with the talent pool.
Yep. I mean, shoot, Cam Newton still has those games.
I mean, Big Ben is going to have terrible games, but then he'll make it up for 15 touchdowns in one game. It's like, what, Ben, what are you doing?
Just quickly looking at the schedule, I could see the Ravens absolutely having, just defensive meltdown in Seattle, because I could see that being a real communication issue. I think that's one thing with the Ravens offense this year. There's going to be a lot of pre-snap movements, and I think some road games are going to be issues.
Yeah, Seattle's a tough place.
Seattle's going to be tough, and Pittsburgh's going to be tough. I think, when they go to Los Angeles to play the Rams, that could get tough. Home versus Houston, that's not going to be easy because J.J. Watt is just going to eat somebody alive. So there's going to be a couple of those games where, it's going to be bad.
Matt, what's the current running back situation for the Ravens?
Well, you got Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
And I like Mark. I think he's a better Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
I'm excited about Justice Hill. I think, they've kind of made Alvin Kamara comparisons with him. Obviously, that's the upside version. Duke Johnson might be the more realistic version.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, I think if the screen game's a big thing, if, teams are so focused on Lamar, especially early in the year, I think teams are still going to be not quite caught up to the Ravens throwing as much. And I think I could see Justice really having some good plays early on. Kenneth Dixon's fine. He's never been what I wanted him to be. And I think Gus is still going to play. Everybody's just, ignoring Gus Edwards. I think Gus is still going to play. He never played bad.
Yeah. Watch him be number one.
He could be. That's why I didn't want them to sign Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
It's because I was like, Gus Edwards has been fine, guys. Spend that money elsewhere.
There's a high chance Gus Edwards will be on my fantasy team at one point this year.
I love me some Gus, man. He's just a big old slug that just goes right up the middle and gains 3 yards and clouded dust does it again.
Just a first down machine.
Yeah.
So that's the AFC North.
So looking at America, ESPN, of course, has the poll for the country.
Oh, it's got to be Browns.
Actually, find out. They're giving the Bengals an 8%, Ravens 11%, Browns 39%, Steelers 42%.
There's a lot of Steelers fans.
I think it's the name. I think it's the name.
Well, there's a lot of Steelers fans out there. There's a lot of bandwagon, championship, woo-woo-woo.
There's a lot of you guys out there.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that'll wrap up for the AFC North. So good first division, guys. Next week, we're going to go to the NFC North. I'm trying to think about who all is in that division.
That's the Vikings, the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions.
All right, so there we go.
Da Bears.
Da Bears. Drinking da beers.
And
that's what the fans will be doing.
Packers and Bears is our first game of the season.
Missing da field goals.
Oh, no, not the field goals. That's not good there, Bob.
Can you bring back Chris Blewett?
Cody Parkey. Oh, no. I started that laugh in the Bears' voice.
The best part of that was when the mascot just fell over in just complete sadness.
Oh, man. So that's going to be the NFC North next week. Again, this is going to be a whole 8-week-long thing, and we're going to wrap it all up, bring it to a head with our final predictions. We're starting college football next week too, everybody. So I forget who I have starting next.
Probably the SEC. Let's be real.
I want to say I had the Pac-12. In that case, Matt's going to be talking about her next week.
Hey, you play to win the game.
Hello.
You play to win the game. Oh, man. One of the greatest slogans
Love that,
ever.
man.
Oh, man. We're going to be, if that's the case, we're going to be talking Pac-12 next week. We're going to get resident Herm Edwards fan Matt back on the show. Oh, man. That's going to be oh, boy. Talking about Herm Edwards again. Nothing like it, is there, Matt?
There are very few things in this life that give me as much joy as Herm Edwards does, which is the opposite of what any fan of his teams have actually been able to say.
And also talking about a little Mike Leach here, too.
Hey, I love that man, too. Every level of football, they have a playoff system. That's a good idea.
Us? We have this
We have 4 teams. 4 teams ain't a playoff.
I agree, Mike.
Oh, man. What a beautiful man.
Oh, man. So that might be potentially next week. I have to go back and take a look at the schedule. But whenever we do talk about the Pac-12, you can be sure that Matt's going to be on the talk about his 2 favorite coaches, Mike Leach and Herm Edwards.
And then he'll hang up.
Do I like Ed Orgeron more than Mike Leach, though? That's a really close one there.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I love me some Go Tigers. That's a playoff system. Combine these 2 men into one. You play to win the game. to go Tigers.
With the philosophy of
You're
Mike
getting
Leach.
me fired up for college football. What's happening here? What is this?
The four horsemen of the college football apocalypse. You get Herm Edwards, Marvin Lewis. Mike Leach and Ed Orgeron, leave your head coaching jobs. Go to Arizona State.
Can I swap out Marvin Lewis for Coach Tuke?
Sure.
Oh.
Fire Coach Tuke.
Hey, give Coach Tuke a raise.
Oh, he's going to be fired.
Zach Lauer somewhere is like, wait, what? They fired him? They did?
Oh, Zach Lauer, go back to the
Cardinals. He's somewhere up in St. Louis like, wait, hold on. Coach Tuke got fired again?
His ears are ringing.
Calls us on our phone like, wait, did you just say that?
we got his hopes up.
Speaking of Zach Lauer getting his hopes up, you know who don't have their hopes up right now? The St. Louis Cardinals.
No.
Yeah, the MLB.
Did you guys talk about Mike Schilt's terrible comments a couple weeks ago?
Oh, no.
I think we missed that.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? They're still applicable, so can I rant for a moment?
Sure.
As somebody who's not a Cardinals fan, but I still appreciate the Cardinals. I really come around on it here.
He's an Angels fan, everybody.
I am an Angels fan. I love my LA Angels.
Mainly
Mike
Trout fan.
Oh, he's beautiful.
No, he's not. Boo him, boo.
It's not in the playoffs.
You leave. I'm kicking you off your own show.
I'm on the list now for sure.
Oh, you've been on that list.
I've been on that since Infinity War.
The Cardinals.
Did you hear Loki dies in Infinity War? I just want to remind America that Andrew McCutcheon has more playoff wins than a Mike Trout.
Yeah.
That brings him back.
I was going to leave, but I really want to talk about this Cardinals stuff.
Okay.
So, the Cardinals are sitting at 500 right now, 2 games out of the division.
Mm-hmm.
They went, I believe it was 20-10 in the month of April.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple weeks ago now, whenever the Blues had the Stanley Cup at Busch Stadium.
Yeah.
For the Cardinals game, one of the reporters, and I don't think he meant for it to come across the way it did, but he was like, hey, is there anything you can take away from the Blues kind of doing their worst to first story? And I think Schilt took that as much more worst to first than he did just kind of an inspirational, the cup is here kind of the way that I think it was meant to be. And basically Schilt laid into them about how, everybody says this team sucks. We're only 2 games out of, first place. We play good fundamental baseball. I thought people in St. Louis liked fundamental baseball. Ozzie Smith did all these great fundamental things. Defense, base running, we're good at those things. And one thing he really emphasized was that they're 2 games out of the division. At that point, I think it was 2.5. And that April was so great. And everybody forgot about April. And no one gave them credit in April. Well, here's the deal, though, Mike Schilt. You're 500. That means you've been equally as bad since April as what you were good in April. That's not good. And by the way, you're 2 games out. You're 2 games out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at these other divisions in all of baseball. Right now, the San Diego Padres are 500 at 45-45. You're 44-44. Same winning percentage. The Padres are 14 games out of their division at 500. The Phillies are 4 games above 500, which means they're 4 games better than you are, and they're 6.5 games out of their division to the Braves. In the AL West, my Halos, my Angels, are 1 game under 500. Okay, so we'll spot you a half a game here, Cardinals. The Angels are 12.5 games out of their division, which means you're 12. In the AL Central, the White Sox are 42-44. Okay, so we spot you a full game there, right? 2 wins, no losses, sure. That makes you 11.5 games out of the AL Central. In the freaking American League East, the Boston Red Sox are 49-41. 8 games over 500 there, 9 games out of their division. You are not good. Don't ask for praise right now. When you are 500 and you've been worse than that ever since, and by the way, Ozuna and Jordan Hicks, you're only 2 legitimate All-Stars, I think, probably.
Yeah.
I think Hicks probably would have made it. He got hurt too early for this to be announced. Ozuna was going to be the All-Star
Just
before he
fell
got
apart,
hurt.
yeah.
Like, why should Cardinals fans be happy with you right now?
You're in the worst division by far.
Yeah, well, yes. And also, the Cubs and Brewers both, I think, are going to take off at some point here. Like, I think they're going to get hot. I don't know which one. One of the two is going to get hot.
Yeah.
And, by the way, also, I guess I just slapped the microphone. You're bragging about being 2 games out of first place. Well, guess what? You're only 2.5 out of last place in the division.
That's also true.
What? Oh, jeez, yeah. I don't know what point I was trying to make here. I don't know what conversation we're gonna have out of this. I just need to rant for a moment about this.
Also, I know, Matt, is that we both went to Cardinals games and we both enjoyed it.
I did. I enjoyed it a lot. The Cardinals did win, but I got to see Albert Pujols home run.
Yeah.
I got to see Mike Trout play baseball.
I got to go on my birthday. I got to see my name put on the screen. Said,
Oh,
Happy
did
birthday.
you?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, my sister and my dad pulled that behind the scenes.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything either.
Oh man,
Really?
wow.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'm out
cost
of
anything.
breath.
You can just do that for free. You just have a certain number of characters on there.
About saying Pittsburgh, Bob Nutton's probably going to charge you like $50.
And then not reinvest in the team.
Well, Peter, he's got to make money some way.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, he's not selling tickets.
I'm surprised.
Root Sports only makes so much money for the Pirates.
I'm surprised the temporary Rays don't do that. Oh,
So
poor Tampa.
since we started with the Central being just so open, I guess it's the best place to start because everything after it just gets less interesting.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, 44 and 45, are only 2.5 back. What a world! But Josh Bell will be traded by the deadline for sure for scraps and
No,
prospects.
you won't.
Prospects.
Yeah.
No,
By
you
prospects,
won't.
we mean lower tier.
Mm-hmm.
By those that are in single A.
Look, they're only paying him like $500,000 this year.
That's still too much, man.
He's under control for 3 more years.
Do you know how much hot dogs cost? They gotta cut some money somewhere.
We're not cutting them with hot dogs.
Now, I will say, I think Josh Bell will get traded before they make the playoffs again.
Oh yeah. Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
If I had to guess, he's going to be a Pirate for 2 more years. Get traded with 1 more year of control.
That's 1 year too many, right, Peter?
Oh yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so you got the Brewers, you got the Cubs up there at the top. Like I said, I don't know which one's going to take off. One of them will. Probably the Cubs. Because the Brewers' run differential right now is minus 17. Cubs is plus 55.
Yeah.
I imagine the Cubs are going to take off at some point.
I mean, between Matt and that just talent they have, I mean, they have to.
You would think. The pitching's been kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, which we knew coming in was the key. I think that's
I
what
didn't think
we see.
Quintana would be as bad as he's been, though.
No.
Yeah.
Q needs to step it up, I think. But they can also be a deadline player, though, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess moving on. So what are some of the other stuff you guys look at the halfway point? You got the deadline coming up here.
Well,
so.
yeah, let's just talk about some of the highlights. Obviously, the Dodgers are awesome.
Yeah.
The Astros are awesome. The A's are good. They're right there in the wild card hunt.
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning of the season when the Dodgers and Red Sox started slow? We're like, it's over.
No kidding, it's over.
Yep.
It's over. World's ending.
Welcome to 60 and 32, kids.
Yep.
With a plus 129 differential. I think that's the most in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It's almost as much as the Orioles are negative, but not quite. Orioles at minus 165. That's impressive.
How much that is Chris Davis?
In that AL East, you got the Yankees on top by 6.5 games over the Rays, who are good.
Yeah.
But
And
can
by
only get
9 over the
49
Red Sox.
fans
Well,
in that Tropicana Dome.
You know.
The Expos will be back, kids.
You know who's good at baseball? The Minnesota Twins are good at baseball.
Yeah,
were gonna say Mike Trout.
this is
He's good at baseball, but we know that. There's no news there.
this
Yes,
is
there is.
Matt. I think we both slept on the Twins coming in this
Well,
season.
because I kind of disregard them. I was like, they were good last year, but, the Indians should win the division.
So last
I
year-
like the White Sox as kind of a breakout.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the Twins are looking really good.
They are. They should be buyers at the deadline. The White Sox have had their moments, so they're still sitting out pretty far. The Indians have been kind of a train wreck, even though they're 50 and 38, but it doesn't feel as good. They've got more of a right to complain than the Cardinals about the negativity, but it just doesn't feel good, and their pitching's beat up right now. Out in the AL West, you got the Astros, who are awesome. The A's are good. The Rangers have been better than expected, and the Angels have been, the Angels. They're right around 500. Go figure.
But as you always say, it's over the horizon.
It is. We're close.
Yeah.
We're close. We're always close.
Oh, remember when the Mariners got off hot? We were like, oh, were we
I
gone?
know.
Welcome to the basement, kids.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the MLB of Major League Baseball.
Every year.
Yeah. Oh man.
Also, Peter, remember the preseason when we were called idiots for saying the Mets weren't good? The Mets aren't good.
No, they're not.
I don't know why people were excited about the Mets.
And now they may be sellers. Take a look at Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler for sure.
Toss up on Syndergaard.
They're throwing around Syndergaard. I don't think so, just because he's controlled through 2021. I don't think so. He also hasn't had a good year. And I think they're going to wait until he does have it. Like, if next year's good, They could trade him at the deadline, get a lot for him.
Get him at his highest point in value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think right now, nobody would give up as much as what they would a year from now.
Oh, man.
Jason Vargas has been surprisingly good. They'll probably trade him away. I don't know if they have any offensive guys I could see them moving, though. They don't really have any offense. Yeah. And then, I mean, in the NL East, the Nationals have been good lately. They've been on a run. The Phillies have been good but disappointing.
They've lost so much of the outfield. It's just McCutchen the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, Harper's
been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harper's been fine.
Not been worthy of the contract he has so far, but yeah.
Again, that contract is more, you bring us a World Series, all is forgiven.
Yeah. Over the course of 80 years.
87 years.
Yeah.
It's like a Kawhi situation.
Yeah.
You bring us the title, we're fine.
Then you have my lovely Atlanta Braves, just winning baseball games. You know, they just keep on chugging along, and I think I could see them being in the market for a starting pitcher here at the deadline. I could see them being a Zach Wheeler, well in the same division. Teams don't like to do that.
Yeah,
they could be a Madison Bumgarner team though.
Yeah, they could.
I think because they got some prospects still coming up that they could be intriguing to trade away. And they really could use some starting pitching help. Fulton Evans has been absolutely awful. Oh, they brought in Keuchel, didn't they?
Yeah, they brought in Keuchel.
I can see them trying to trade for Will Smith, though. Bringing in another reliever. Their closer's has been kind of a bit of a mess with Luke Jackson. A.J. Minter has been very good.
Yeah.
So I see that. What kind of big names are out there on the trade market, do you guys think, for this year? I know Bumgarner is kind of the biggest name, but not quite the biggest player anymore.
Yeah.
Will Smith, their closer, also a good one. From the Padres, I could see them trading away Kirby Yates, maybe, but I hope not. I mean, Peter, as you know, the entire Pirates are up for sale.
Oh, always.
You know, they could all get traded away. Same goes for the Marlins. Every Marlin player get traded away.
Yeah.
If the Nationals fall off here in the next 2 weeks, I could see them moving away a couple guys.
It's possible.
There's a couple. For the Angels, I could see all the guys we signed in for agency this year: Harvey, Cahill, Lou Croy. We already DFA'd Cody Allen. He was a mess. I can see all three of those guys get traded away. Cole Calhoun, I can see us selling him off because Joe Adele is hopefully up soon. That'd be fun. Hopefully next year. So that would free up an outfield spot for him. And I don't think any Angels are expecting to win anything this year.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
JC, I don't know how much of an MLB guy that you are, but if you are, what are some of your thoughts on the season so far?
I don't watch much baseball unless I'm betting on it, and I'll tell you this right now: I am 1-32 in my baseball bets. I am not good at betting baseball. Horrible. So yeah, baseball for me is not my cup of tea. I've done great on it, but I was looking over the World Series odds, and the Red Sox are like 20-1, and the Astros 3-1. Reds are like 60-1. There's some good bets out there for the World Series, but as far as like watching baseball and knowing much about the game, I don't know much as I used to. The guy who won the MVP for the All-Star game, I never even heard of.
Shane Bieber? You didn't know who Shane Bieber was?
I don't know who. I didn't know who he was.
He's a great breakout this year. Yeah, he was a fantasy sleeper.
I think everybody paid attention to the home run derby.
That was fun.
Yeah, Vlad Jr., Peterson. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Jock Peterson.
Yeah.
Real quick, Jace, on your 1-for-32 MLB bets, are those DFS?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you.
On the baseball, where you said you really sucked, you were like 1-for-32. Was that daily fantasy where you were doing that?
Oh no, it was at the actual sports book where I placed my betting at it.
Okay, so for the actual game.
Yeah.
Okay, because that was one thing I was going to mention, that daily fantasy for baseball is not worth it at all. Like, because Mike Trout, the best player in baseball, could go 0-for-5 with 2 strikeouts, and no one cares. No one's batting an eye at it. But if LeBron James misses every single basketball shot that he takes, or if Tom Brady throws an interception on every single pass he throws, people are panicking.
They're losing
It's
their
a
minds.
huge deal. Right. Baseball's so random, I advocate against betting on individual games or players or days. Yeah, baseball's much more of a season-long bet.
Unless you're Pete Rose.
Of course.
Yeah.
In which case, you got some more control of what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Pete Rose. Oh, man. All right. I guess that's it for the MLB. Now it's time to get to the crazy unknown portion of the show. The crazy storylines, moments, memes, whatever you want to call them.
That's it's 100 episodes. You might as well see how we got here.
Yeah, how in the world did we get to 100 episodes?
We just kept on doing it.
I mean, I created the show. I still don't know how. It's very weird. All right, Peter, I'm pretty sure you kept up with this in depth. All right, so what are some of the what are some off the top of your head?
I just love last year making Matt mad with college football because the season before we never really got the hint that he didn't like it.
Oh,
because we didn't we were just talked about.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna comment on this once you're wrapped up there.
Okay. Because, the 2017 season, we talked about had him chime in every now and then, but that was it. They decided, hey, let's keep tracks of our bets for once. Because last year, the year after, we were like, who got most of the picks right last year? We need a way to...
Yeah, and so we did what we did last year.
And then just... the best part of that was making you fall in love with Herm Edwards, because there was that week where it was Arizona State versus Washington, and I said, Matt, if Herm Edwards beats Washington, we will cancel college football. And you were just like...
it was Christmas.
You went from trashing Herm Edwards' name for 7 weeks to going, come on, Herm! So I like to think, even though you hate it, I gave you something to keep interested in.
Well, okay, so I've never been a big college football fan. It's just, I don't like the style of game as much. I think it's much less entertaining than NFL. I've also never, I think it's also very similar to high school football, which I've never, I never had that growing up. There's also no college for me to really care about growing up. Because I lived in between, I lived there in St. Louis, Mizzou and Illinois. Mm-hmm. Woohoo! Mm-hmm.
The perennial 6-6 teams.
I gotta tell you though, I think it has a little bit to do with SEMO being good this year. I think that has something to do with it.
And also that you were the king of college football last year.
I won the picks. Mm-hmm. I'm looking more forward to college football this year than I think I've ever looked forward to college football.
Wow. So now we're not doing it. There we go. Just cancel next week.
That's the way it would go.
Well, just like Peter getting the Raptors here.
God, what else? I will always love the botched introduction of Rebecca in the what was it, the 2018 baseball preview.
Yeah, shout out to Rebecca.
Matt, why don't you introduce Rebecca? And you just
Ryan.
Shout out to Rebecca.
Oh yes, of course. I know she's listening.
Yeah, I hope
she might be watching live. I'm not sure.
I don't know if she is. If she is, hi.
I feel like she would have texted me.
Yeah,
I feel like I would know if she was watching live. She's probably.
Yeah.
There would have been a text that says, "The Raptors, really?" He does not deserve that.
No, he doesn't. Well, mine is you guys keep. It was also because of Matt gave me this as a Christmas present last time I saw him. Butch Jones. Butch Jones, the Angry Bird. That you gave me.
Angry Bird, Butch Jones.
Ryan, I want to say I'm happy I got to know you because I feel like I would have just missed the whole downgrade of Tennessee because I was never an SEC guy, so I've been like, oh, Tennessee's bad for some reason. Whatever. To know the exact reasons and how bad he was, I was like, this is great.
He's down. He's derailed so many careers. The way he practiced and the way he had the conditioning and stuff like that. We've had so many people retire for health reasons that they've had to quit their football careers really early. And it sucks for me to see that because we've had so many people. We just had one guy who I really loved. He's been there 5 years. He had to retire because, injuries took a toll on him. And I had to think it was partly because early in his career, Butch freaking Jones as his head coach. Hey, me and Jace, after we did our NBA preview, we got to talking a little bit. And Jace, you were telling me you almost went to the University of Tennessee.
Ooh.
Yeah, when I was getting out of the Navy, that was the first college I toured was University of Tennessee because it wasn't that far from where it was basically on the way home. And every time I drive through Knoxville, I loved the city and I loved the campus. I toured it, and I fell in love with the university. And I just made a split decision to come back home and go to ASU. It was literally like a coin flip for me going to ASU or Tennessee.
Yeah. I couldn't really blame you for going back home either. I mean,
yeah,
who wouldn't? And be honest, you probably made the smart decision. You didn't have to endure all the Butch Jones era in person, which you should be thankful for that part. But yeah, that's been a part that that's become like a meme of the show. Is like
I'm trying to think of those kinds of things from the past, and I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm going latest and greatest Ryan McDaniel here. But I really love that Peter's a Raptors fan.
You doing the imitation of my voice is another one.
I don't know what you're talking about. Ryan.
I know the one where we discussed who should be the new NBA logo. We said Ron Artest.
Yeah, in the stands.
Mouse in the Palace.
Because, Matt was against the idea, but then we dropped out. I was like, oh, you know what? I just...
Oh, Peter should have become a Pistons fan. And Mouse in the Palace Part 2.
Just start punching it. Just start randomly punching stuff. I think we said this in episode 50. It's when every one of us talks about sports we don't pay attention to and try to BS our way through it. Matt, college. Ryan, baseball and hockey. Me, the NBA. We're just like,
well, not now.
I remember that name.
Well, not anymore.
I was like, now we just give up. We don't even try anymore. But like I said, I've really come around and enjoyed college football more lately.
Yeah.
I'm happy I have.
What I think you'll love about it is that where the NFL, you can have a franchise that's good for decades. College, it's always open.
Alabama.
It's never guaranteed. Well, again, early 2000s, they were like 3-9.
Late 90s for the Patriots.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's
Nick
I don't know.
Saban's first year at Alabama, he lost to University of Louisiana Monroe at home.
I know.
Oof.
That's and taking a look back on it, I was like,
You know what, man? I just realized Herm Edwards is superior to Nick Saban because Herm Edwards won a playoff game in the NFL. I think.
That, as a Mike Trout fan, that's not how we decide who's the best. Is by who wins playoffs.
Someone fact checked me because I, for some reason, was thinking he was coaching.
He did actually.
Okay.
With the Jets, I believe.
Peter, do we keep track of Mike Trout stats because he gets because he got swept that one time?
Oh! Us making fun of each other is the best thing. And I'm amazed nobody's led with it. My disastrous picks.
Yeah.
The Giants winning the Super Bowl.
Yes.
The
Miami.
Florida.
Although your terrible way of picking the freaking NBA almost panned out for you.
Yeah, I know.
That one almost worked out. But yeah, your terrible Miami pick.
Oh man. Mark Richt has lost control of that whole system, even though he's retired.
I forgot about the Giants. The Giants is your crown jewel.
Yeah.
Picking the Giants in the Super Bowl like 2 years ago.
Yep.
That one was
And
rough.
here we are. Look at how bad they've been.
Who's going to be cursed this year, I wonder.
Well, last year I was good. Saints almost made it. The Patriots did win.
Yeah.
I didn't pick them to win, but, they made it. So last year was a sign of hope. Just everything else, don't look at it. Although last year, I want to point out, I did have the Steelers 9-7, and you guys were like, Peter, you're being too hard on them.
That's true.
I was like, fine, I'll give them 11-5.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. One of the best moments, entertainment was born out of views.
Yep.
You guys did I believe, the Last Jedi preview, and that's become a meme of itself.
How I had
Freaking
hope.
Last Jedi. Last Jedi is a meme of the internet, man. That thing is just...
And it was born out of that. And then,
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
I think us three then did a review pod, talked about that, and then that entertainment was kind of born out of that, and we did all the stuff.
I know it's entertainment, but when we did the retrospective of Force Awakens and Last Jedi,
Yep.
I was like, whose dumb idea was this? Was it mine? Because I was angry.
It would have been.
Yeah, it probably was. I was like, okay, good. I want to make sure I can be angry at
We
myself.
can't talk about the entertainment and not mention the Frogger movie.
Oh, yeah.
The
Froggerverse
Which funny enough,
is-
I went back and listened to that pod yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, how did we come up?"
I
with
remember
this?
because you were going to review Venom, and then we started talking about this, like, Ryan, I'm sorry, forget Venom.
I think it was Sonic that kind of like let us into
Yeah.
it, right? Because then like
Yeah.
what ridiculous video game character?
Oh no,
No, they were making a Just Dance Revolution
Yeah,
movie.
Just Dance.
And they're
Oh,
like, what's the
God.
stupidest idea they can do?
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, then you came up with Frogger, and that took on a life of its own. We're still talking about it.
Jace, do you have any video game characters you'd like to add to the Froggerverse?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Do you have any video game characters you'd like to make a movie of to add to our Froggerverse?
Preferably obscure.
To a movie, Assassin's Creed 3, Connor.
That sounds like it's got too much like actual potential. You need something stupider. Like, I don't know. You could do like Knuckles from Sonic. Since we're doing a Sonic movie, let's make a Knuckles movie.
I'm gonna take one of Peter's lines from that Frogger podcast. Jace, you're not thinking stupid enough.
You gotta think stupid.
Stupid.
Remember,
All
Peter
let me-
rules, there are no rules except when they are, but even then we don't care.
Okay, circle around and come back to me in a second.
Alright.
Oh man. Oh.
Oh gosh.
We were talking about making a Frog universe, but we had Howard the Duck, when we had Cosmo the Space Dog, and then you brought up a mutant bear, which I found was
There
like
was
Ursa
a
Major.
Soviet-Russian bear in the MCU. And I was like, that's so stupid. I want that.
Let's make it a movie. Get them their own movies at Marvel, please.
I also really enjoy Peter's love of Bob Nutton. That one came up earlier today as well.
Jimmy Haslam.
Yep, Jimmy Haslam. All of your owners that you're a big fan of. Yeehaw!
I would like to thank, since we're on the 100th episode, I want to thank Mike Polk Jr. for that. That was just so good. It's been in my mind forever.
I think we also need to thank somebody else, John Gruden, for giving us so many.
Also, Peter, if you don't mind reciting all your prayers from all your quarterback churches.
Oh, yeah. So it started with Derek Carr, I believe. It went to Carson Wentz, but it was too easy.
And it was like
So
Blake
then
Bortles.
it was Blake Bortles forever.
Forever, yeah.
And then
Blake
he got
Bortles for a while.
benched. I was like, well, Baker is the sexy new pick, so you know what?
Man, remember that time when everybody crapped on me for, like, I think it was like USA Today posted like a list of like the top quarterbacks. Like Derek Carr had Drew Brees, and I was like, "Come on, really, guys?" And Derek Carr's been crap ever since.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah, that's true. Oh man, what else is? Oh man, it's just been a crazy ride. 100 episodes.
I think the show going from trying to be, professional just to becoming just a absolute expletive show. Like the wheels came off the track a long time ago. We just haven't bothered to put them back on.
Yes,
we're making our own path.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
It sticks out better. Would you want to listen to Stephen A. or Dan Le Batard if they were professional? No.
No.
Oh, I would love to hear Stephen A's rants. Those are, oh man.
Speaking of lack of professionalism, I think we gotta order Domino's while we're on the podcast.
Hey, I mean, when you call in, you play video games.
Hey, you're darn right I do.
Hey, that's a way to live right there.
Like, typically a podcast and a game of Madden are about the same length. It's perfect.
Going back to entertainment, when we were doing the retrospective for Star Wars, your R2-D2 Xbox turned on, and I was like, oh, is this the mouse giving me a warning to keep the mouse shut?
Oh, gotta thank the mouse.
Oh, yeah, praise be the mouse.
Yeah, thank Disney. Thank Papa Feige.
Yep.
Also thank Papa Iger.
And the Espins.
The Espins.
Oh.
We didn't make our picks for the ESPYs.
Oh, wait, that's tonight.
That's tonight. Oh, well. That's okay.
I just want to say, for WWE moment, if Roman Reigns not coming back from cancer does not win, that whole thing should be shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really should.
Shout out to Roman Reigns for getting in Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of Roman Reigns, Peter, your the cancer battle royal.
Oh!
No.
I don't think we ever said that, so we probably should cut that. That was... Oh... Yeah, we came up on the side with
I lost my hat.
As a joke on the side, we came up with what would be the worst wrestling card ever, and it got dark fast.
Oh man.
So, I'm pretty sure you can only imagine where that went.
Oh man.
Also, among my favorite podcast moments are the podcasts that have been lost in history, the ones that never made it to air, the ones that got deleted.
This one's still going.
This one's still going. Good. Okay. Yeah, the ones where the recording just stops
and we just
don't
didn't
notice.
Yeah, Matt almost lost one yesterday, and
I almost lost my part of the one yesterday.
Oh, please no.
Me and Peter did a whole wrestling
Money
one.
in the,
Like an
money
hour
in
and
the
a
bank, and then we just never did one until WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
We were just like, well,
like we're out.
Vince McMahon was like, nope, you're done. I feel like bringing in references that nobody understands beside us and just running with it and having the audience just like, what?
It's inside jokes.
Yeah.
It's inside jokes, basically. Jace, you said to come back to ED. Have you found a character yet?
Yes, you're going to have to go way back. I had to think deep for a second. It's Slippy Toad from the Star 60.
Slippy Toad! I like it. That's a good one. Man, Slippy Toad and Frogger built up for a showdown. Oh, boy.
Oh, forget Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. That's going to be the real moneymaker right there. Please don't let Zack Snyder get anywhere towards this.
Hey, that's Snyder Cut. It'd be great.
No, Matt, you're living in a freaking dream world right now, all right?
There's a Snyder Cut.
Oh,
it doesn't exist.
I've seen it.
Oof.
Is
I haven't
better?
seen it. It still has Martha.
You don't want to see it.
Playing off a Future Matt that we had on back a few weeks ago.
Oh, good old Future Matt.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's up to.
I wonder if the Snyder Cut ever came out. I wonder if it was any better.
I will ask him next time I see him.
I bet it wasn't. I think we already know the answer. Oh dear.
If you just want more misery and sadness, it's what you want.
Oh man.
Speaking of misery and sadness, I feel like we're kind of lingering here at the end of this.
Yeah.
I think we need to get
We
things
made it
wrapped
to
up.
somehow, some way. We made it to 100 episodes.
We did it. We're here. This is 2 hours. It was good. And it was fun.
Before we go, of course, when me and Matt have to hold down the fort, those have always been the.
Yeah, those were always good.
Yeah.
Matt and Peter shows. Ryan really is the backbone of this thing. Like, give it up for Ryan McDaniel, ladies and gentlemen. This man, he really is what keeps this thing. There's a reason he's LeBron, and I'm just Chris Bosh.
Oh man, where's Rich Paul? Where's my Rich Paul here? I need to get some stars here. I need to trade 5 first-round picks for the next 10 years. Oh, that's gonna wrap it up here. We did linger on here, but yeah, that's going to do it here for the Views 100th episode special. It's been a fun one, guys. Who knows? Maybe 100 more. We'll see what happens.
I hope I'm alive by 200.
I'm not sure you're gonna make it that far, Peter. I know how much you drink.
Next episode is episode 101. We can make a funny podcasting 101 reference right there. Make a joke out of it, but anyway, that's gonna do it. Thanks to Matt for coming back. He's still alive. He's not dusted anymore. We're so glad for that. Thank you, Peter, for giving the gauntlet back to Thanos and that whole.
Oh, don't thank me. Thank the writers for retconning it.
Shout out to Jace for coming on again. You can go check out his 2 podcasts. Jace, do you have a date in mind of when you might be launching those 2?
It will be exactly a week before the college football season kicks off. So it'd be August 15th because the first game is Miami and University of Florida in Orlando. So it's going to be right before then. The Betting Line podcast is going to come out around the same time. So be on the lookout for that. And before I get off, and I have one little nugget for you. We were talking about over-unders for the NFL.
Yeah.
Take the Chicago Bears, put all your money on it, put the rent money, put your car payment, put your life savings on the Bears going over this year.
Oh, wow.
Well, the good news for me is I don't have much money to begin with, so I wouldn't lose that much.
I think Bears is at 9 right now. They're guaranteed to win at least 11 games this year.
11 games guaranteed.
Oh, wow. We got a guarantee right there, everybody. Guarantee. Chicago Bears.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm excited to listen to those 2. You guys be sure to check those 2 podcasts out around then when they come out. You can go support Jason, him starting out with this 2 podcasts. I'm excited to listen to those. I'm sure everybody else is as well. That'll do it for us here for the Views for the 573 podcast, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, you can find us anywhere, YouTube. Check out Podcast on 573. Check us out on our Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff. We're going to be doing a DCEU podcast where Peter books the DCEU, and that's going to be a trip in and of itself.
I don't even know how we're going to do it, to be honest.
That's why I need pizza.
Yeah, so that's going to be crazy.
Hey guys, it's Future Matt. I have made my second appearance now on the Views from the 573 podcast. We just want to let you know that there's been a little bit of a change in plans here on the Peter DCEU podcast. We're going to change some things. Peter over here, I actually brought some future friends with me here. The futuristic 3, if you will. I've got Future Ryan. I've got Future Peter. Just going to explain real quick what's happening.
Future Peter ran off with his Frogger money and started yelling, "Where the at?" So that was an interesting turn of events. So it's just regular Peter. I guess fame got to me. What a surprise.
Yeah, no one was surprised, let me tell you. We all knew it would happen. And then you got busted down in Mexico.
My dream.
Yeah, Peter is going to take some time to... we're going to flesh out the DCU
We
more.
got 30 minutes into it, and while we found the perfect format to make it work, it's probably not going to be in one go. It's going to be over parts.
Yes.
There's some things we should go back to I should go back to the drawing board with, because it's a little too big for its own good. I don't want to rip off Marvel too much, but I feel like I need to take their format of let's do it slower.
Yeah.
So we got that. Again, sorry about that, kids. We're going to have to push it off to the side for now.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, you can check out our previous episodes of Views again. You can check out our Far From Home review and MCU Re-Rankings podcast. That's going to be coming out here in a little bit. So, yeah, stay tuned in in the meantime, everybody. That DCU pod is coming here shortly.
We're going to throw it back to the past, I guess we should say soon. I should probably go find Future Peter, because if he does anything bad, it's probably going to come back on me.
It's kind of appropriate that we're going to be doing it there. We did it re-ranking show. We did a ranking show last year, and so it's only fitting that we do another one a year later. So be sure to go check that out.
It has maybe one of the funniest moments toward the end when we're ranking. I wanted to say it as a good moment, but since it hasn't happened yet, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
You guys will find out next week.
It was perfect.
Oh, man. Yeah, so that'll do it for us here, guys. Thank you guys for being with us through 100 episodes. It really means a whole bunch. Who knows, 100 episodes might be on the way. Thank you guys for Facebook Live for tuning in with us and watching all this madness happen. Thank you guys for tuning in. We haven't done one in a while. It's been nice to be back on the live. So with that being said, everybody, thank you guys for tuning in to Views from the 573 podcast. We made it to 100 episodes, everybody, and we will talk to you guys next time.